All right, guys, are you ready for the last video in the starter series, the ultimate starter compilation of Star Citizen? This is 4 videos all rolled into one because they're all kind of short. It's probably going to be a long video, but there's a lot of knowledge in here. First, we're going to start with Section 9, which is all about professions and current professions and then upcoming professions as well. Section 10 is all going to be about the state of the game and where the game is right now and where hopefully the game is heading to in the future, and kind of how to use the bug system and how to report issues with the game, because it certainly has its share. The Section 11 is going to be on resources, things you can do to enhance your experience in the game, and resources that us players use all the time that helps us out in our journey in Star Citizen. And finally, the very last section is fairly short, and it is my outro and my final thoughts and my personal opinion on the game after being in it for almost 2 years. I'm not a super long time backer like a lot of folks, so I hope you like it, and here we go. Okay, so we're here at Section 9, which is the professions section of the video. And just like the other sections, I'm going to try not to take too long to go from section to section in here, but, you know, it could be long. The first profession we'll talk about is probably my favorite profession, and that is, I guess I would say overall it's a warrior profession, but really in the game it's called Bounty Hunter / Mercenary. We'll start off with Bounty Hunter, and the first thing you can do with bounty hunting, which we're only at version 1, there's other versions that are going to come out into the future. We're hoping Bounty Hunter version 2 comes this year, but you have 3 different types of missions. You have player versus evil, or PvE, which is against the NPCs in the game. You have PvP, which is player versus player. And then you have, I consider those space missions. And then you have first-person shooter, or FPS missions. So with bounty hunting in PvE, recently last year, they enabled missions in atmospheric flight. So basically what it is right now, it's a dogfighting game. You take your ship and you accept one of the PvE missions to track down a bounty. And there's different skill levels. There's first you have to qualify for it, and you have to qualify for each tier in your reputation system. But at first you'll do very low risk targets, and then you'll move up into low risk targets, then you'll move into medium risk, high risk, very high risk, and then extreme risk targets. And this applies throughout the gamut of bounty hunting and mercenary missions. So when you start out with the lower risk targets, you'll face ships that should be easier to kill because they're either not as armored or they have some kind of a drawback compared to what you bring to kill them. Right now, there is no capture gameplay for these bounties. It's basically you fly over to their marker and then you engage with them and you shoot them down. There is only one bounty per mission, and you only have to kill that one bounty. But they usually have friends there, and so you get extra money if you have the call to arms thing on, the call to arms mission on, which is a passive mission inside the mercenary tracking. You do not have to track call to arms, but what it lets you do is get money every time you kill somebody with a crime stat, and that's players or NPCs. So you can either do that in space or you can do that in atmosphere. There are missions at every major planetary body in the Stanton system, but the Hurston system and Crusader system are the only ones with space bounties. The Microtech and the ArcCorp systems only have atmospheric bounties, which that means you have to actually fly into the planet or a moon's atmosphere, and then you dogfight while you're in the atmosphere, which means everything is slowed down a lot. They are significantly harder missions to dogfight just because you don't have the ability to turn and to really, especially if you're solo, they're much harder, but they pay out as the same. So I prefer to do the space missions just because I usually take ships that are they're horrible to fly in atmosphere, but they're good for other uses. And then, like I said, you can get reputation progression for doing those. And then as your reputation goes up, you will get the higher tier bounties, and then you will make more money. Eventually, you can split off and do group bounty missions, which means instead of having one target, you have 3 different targets, and you have to fly to each of those 3 targets, and that's significantly more money. You can do those solo, but it's really best and funnest to do a lot of those missions with friends. PvP bounties is the same situation, except you're actually fighting players who have crime stats. So the missions may be worded a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference there with players don't have to stay there and fight you. And players typically have way more skill than NPC bounty missions. So if you are going to hunt players and you actually have call to arms on and you kill them, you will send them to prison, and you will get a set amount of money depending on their crime stat. But just know PvP missions are probably the hardest bounty hunting missions in the game. Especially because a lot of PvP players, the bad guys, they will tend to, if they get low on health or shields, most of them run. As with the good guys, most people, when they're about to get killed by another player, they'll just run. Quantum away somewhere. So you might want to have some kind of quantum enforcement device or interdiction device when you do that type of gameplay. Speaking of crime stats, we went over that briefly earlier in the video, but if you commit a crime, you will get a crime stat. They do stack. So if you get multiple crime stat 1s, which is the lowest level, you'll eventually get a crime stat 2. If you get a bunch of 2s, you'll eventually get a 3. When you get a crime stat 1 or 2, you can pay off your crime stat at a kiosk at the landing areas and in the space stations. Anything over a crime stat 3, now the stations are shooting at you with turrets. They're shooting missiles at you. You will eventually appear onto the bounty hunting board, the missions, once you have a crime stat 3, and that's where people can hunt you down and kill you. Usually homicide is a crime stat 3. And then the highest crime stat you can get is a 5. I don't particularly like the crime stat system. I think it should be more tied to reputation, but for now, that's what we have. Moving on to FPS missions. This is the same type of thing. It's really bounty hunting, but sometimes there's a single bounty. Sometimes it's just like, hey, help defend this area or help clear this area out. There are some missions on space stations, like Security Post Korea out by Selen in the Crusader system. That's a famous one for pirates on the station. But most of them are at some kind of outpost or bunker on some kind of a moon or a planet, and you would want to land there. Some of those turrets are active and they're pretty powerful. But you want to land there, you want to get inside. It's all really the same map. It's just whether you come in on the bottom floor or the top floor. And then you come in there and you have to kill the bad guys. Usually the pirates are in that weird kind of bluish red armor, and the good guys are in something different. Sometimes white, sometimes something different. The bad guys do spawn in the closets of that area, which are basically elevators that we can't get into, but they can get into and open. Sometimes they get stuck in there. Those are called spawn closets. A lot of times people will fly in, they'll land over a hill or something, and then take a land vehicle in. That way the turrets can't shoot at them. And there are a couple other type of missions for FPS. There's like the 890 jump mission is where you have a 890 jump that's in distress. Some pirates have taken it over, killed a bunch of people. You have to go to it. You have to do a couple dog fights with Cutlass Blacks. Then you actually have to fly in and EVA out to the A90 jump, and then you have to go all around the ship and kill the bad guys. That produces a lot of loot, typically, in the form of armor and weapons. There are the brand new type of mission called the Derelicts, which sometimes they have bad guys, and sometimes there's like laser trip mines and things like that. So there's new stuff coming in, and hopefully one day we'll see Theaters of War, which is a separate type of game within the game, where we can recreate battles and kind of do like a Call of Duty experience. Okay, the next profession we're going to have is mining, and we're going to have JawaSparky take over mining. So take it away, Jawa.
Mining is a 4-stage process that can be done with a ship, ground vehicle, or by hand. I will go over each of these methods a little later, but let's start with the 4-stage process, which includes prospecting, fracturing, extraction, and refinement. The first step to any mining operation requires the discovery of minerals. This is done by using a ship scanner to ping an area for mineral deposits. Hand mining uses observation and knowledge of harvestable minerals. Mineral deposits consist of very dense rock and are often large in mass. Before a rock is able to be extracted, it must be first broken down into smaller fragments. This stage is done by using a dedicated ship's mining laser or hand tool to emit a powerful laser into the rock to increase its energy level high enough to cause the rock to fracture. Each rock has its own instability and resistance values. These numbers are indicated on the HUD. When the number is in red, this may be a problem when mining, and caution is advised. The instability of the rock indicates how stable the laser charge level will be. The higher the instability is, the higher the fluctuations in the energy field will be, which can quickly lead to an energy spike into the overcharge area and potential disaster. The resistance of a rock indicates how hard it will be for the mining laser to crack it. The closer the number is to 1, the harder it will be to fracture. After the rock is fractured, it is extracted. This is done by using a dedicated ship's extraction beam, which will automatically break down the fragments and simultaneously move the rubble into its storage bay. With hand mining, this process is done by simply picking up the minerals and placing them into the miner's storage compartment. The final stage in a mining operation is to remove the impurities and unwanted elements from the extracted rock in order to be sold. We will talk about refining a little later. Let's talk about dedicated ship mining. Ship mining can be done in large caves, in asteroid belts, or on planet or moon surfaces. Mining ships include the MISC Prospector, the Argo Mole, and the RSI Orion. The Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern, or MISC Prospector, is a small-sized mining ship that has long been the preferred ship for solo miners and surveyors throughout the verse. The Argo Astronautics Mole, or Multi-Operator Laser Extractor, is a medium-sized multi-crew mining ship. With 3 independent mining turrets and comprehensive crew facilities, it is a ship perfect for efficient multi-crew mining and can also be used solo. The Robert Space Industries Orion is a capital-size mobile mining platform that has an extensive storage for resources, drone docks, and an onboard refinery, which allows the ship to be operated alone for large-scale mining operations without the need of support vessels. This ship is currently in concept. Each of these vessels has 1 or more mining lasers capable of fracturing and extracting large mineral deposits. The Prospector comes with 1 size 1 Arbor mining laser, and the Mole comes with 3 size 2 Arbor mining lasers. There are also other lasers available, and I will go over a couple of them briefly. 2 of the other lasers we use are the Lancet and the Helix. They both have 2 additional sub-item slots. The Helix uses more power and reduces the instability a bit more than the Arbor. The Lancet uses less power and reduces the resistance and the instability far more than the Arbor. So the Helix will crack rocks faster and be able to mine larger rocks, but this is offset by the fact that the Helix does not decrease the instability enough to account for its power, thus making it harder to mine minerals that have a small optimum charge window. The Lancet, on the other hand, is safer to mine with, but may struggle with larger minables due to its lower power. This can be offset with the use of sub-items such as the Surge module. Operators can modify their mining laser's performance and behavior by augmenting it with up to 3 mining laser modules. There are 2 different types of mining laser modules, active and passive. Active mining laser modules have a limited number of initiated uses, and passive mining laser modules confer permanent changes to the laser. Hand or FPS mining is usually done in caves. You can also pick up gems after a larger rock has been cracked with a rock or a rock DS. Believe it or not, you can also hand mine on an asteroid. When you are mining with a mole or a prospector, sometimes gems show up when you get real close. When you spot them, you can EVA over and mine. To hand mine, you will need the Pyro RYT multi-tool. This is a handheld power tool manufactured by Greycat Industrial. The multi-tool's key feature is that it can accept various modules that will enable it to perform a wide range of tasks. Those modules include the Orbit mining attachment, which allows users to scan and mine for minerals, the True Hold tractor beam, which allows users to move objects remotely or pull themselves towards larger objects while in EVA. The Lifeguard medical attachment allows users to heal players and NPCs using Hemizol, the same thing that is found in a med pen. And the Oxy-Torch cutter attachment, which allows users to cut through some objects. You will be mainly using the mining attachment, but it is useful to have the others as well. Finally, you will need armor and a backpack to put your minerals in. Remember that the armor core size determines the size of backpack you can carry, so plan accordingly. Ground vehicle mining is similar to ship mining, but you are in a surface vehicle. There are 2 of these vehicles, the Rock and the Rock DS. The Greycat Industrial Rock, or Remote Ore Collector, is a single-seat mining ground vehicle. It is designed to mine larger crystalline mineral nodes that are beyond the reach of a hand tool, but too small for the prospector or mole. The Greycat Industrial Rock DS, or Remote Ore Collector Dual Seat, is a 2-seat mining ground vehicle. Compared to the standard Rock, it boasts a slightly more powerful, custom mining head that can be controlled independently from the external seat and a larger storage capacity. The standard Rock will fit in anything you can put a Cyclone in, which includes the Cutlass series or a Nomad. The Rock DS fits in anything you can put an Ursa rover in, like the Mercury Star Runner. Once you have fractured and collected your minerals, you will want to sell them. Hand minables and minerals collected with the Rock can be sold at mining stations or at an admin office. Ore collected with the prospector or mole needs to be taken to a refinery. Refineries can be found in any L1 station and on HER L2. The refineries themselves host a variety of services in 2 rooms. Downstairs is the Mining Support Center, where you can purchase mining-related equipment including armor and backpacks, multi-tools and their various attachments, and select mining lasers and modules. You can also rent rocks, prospectors, and Cutlass Blacks to haul the rocks in through the Vantage Rental Kiosk. Upstairs is refinement processing and ore sales. There are many different refining methods available to refine minerals. The duration, cost, and yield depends on the process type and the material specialization of the station. A work order is assigned to the entire cargo of a vehicle, and work orders cannot be split into multiple vehicles. Minerals not included in the work order are permanently lost. Once processing is done, it turns into a cargo run. Alternatively, ore can be sold directly to the refinery through the ore sales kiosks.
All right, I think Jawa did a great job. Let's talk about really the next two are kind of synonymous with each other. The first one is called cargo delivery or space trucker. I consider the cargo delivery taking goods from point A to point B. It's very simple, but it's effective. You could do what's called box missions, and in the game, there's different companies tied to reputation that will hire you to pick up a box from some location and then deliver it to another location. And that's basically all it is, whether the mission is to pick up one box or 3 boxes or whatever. It's basically pizza delivery type stuff. However, advanced reputation in the cargo delivery area can lead to combined FPS and delivery missions. You could get a higher tier FPS mission and you have to find the box down in the bunker. Then you have to deliver it. Those actually have quite a high payout and they're quite a lot of fun. Now, the reason I say cargo delivery is tied to the next profession, which is trading, is because trading is really delivering goods from point A to point B. However, the difference between cargo delivery, which is a part of trading, is that in trading, you are actually responsible for buying the goods. It's a buy low, sell high type thing. Typically, most people use high SCU ships for trading. And it's basically, say you go down to a moon that has a high amount of some kind of mineral. Let's say it's laranite. And this is kind of old gameplay, how it used to be. You buy a whole ship worth of laranite. Now, hopefully, you have a big ship with a lot of quantity, a lot of storage area, like a Caterpillar or a C2, an M2, something like that. And you load that thing up. And let's say that laranite costs $20 a unit. Well, you're going to spend a ton of money buying that laranite. But then you're going to fly it once you get it loaded up into your ship, which right now is instant. Later on in the game, you'll actually have to get it loaded. But you get it all loaded up in your ship. You are assuming all of the risk at this point because your money is tied up in those minerals that are in your ship. You then take off and you fly to a trade division, or at Hurston, it's called the Central Business District, or at Microtech, it's called the Trade Development Division. Basically, at one of the planets, you're going to land there, and then you're going to sell that cargo for a higher price. So if you bought it at some moon that had excess at $20 a unit, and you're going to sell it at $22 or $23 a unit, let's hope that you had 500, 600 units to sell, and then you made a profit on that. The way it used to be was we'd load up our Caterpillars with laranite at a moon called Ariel in the Hurston system, and it would cost about 1.4 million alpha UEC to fill up a Caterpillar, and then you'd have a really quick flight over to planet Hurston, and once you land, your goods were secured. It's about 10 minutes to load up and then fly and land. Then you take the train over to the Central Business District and you would trade all of that, all the goods you had, and you would profit 340,000 alpha UEC per run. So that was actually really good because you could make $1 million easily 20, 30 minutes if you hustled. So, and if you had multiple Caterpillars, you could have people you could hire people to do that stuff. So it was very lucrative. I recommend for trading the high SCU ships for sure. Right now there is the quantum system is not in yet. Really, the economy is not in yet, but we do have the start of it, which is based off. You've probably seen it on your screen. It says the journal shows you the current prices for goods. None of it has to do with minerals. Right now, buying minerals is kind of borked because there is a global population of minerals across all servers instead of per server. So once laranite is sold out, it's sold out for everybody in the game, not just your server. But the journal it'll say, hey, during Invictus, people need fireworks. You got to bring fireworks over to Everest Harbor or whatever. And so you'll have to go fly up to Microtech and buy fireworks and then take them over to Everest Harbor and sell them. And usually your return on investment is not very good using the journal, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, so that's about how that works. In the future, when we get the quantum system, there will actually be an economy based on supply and demand, and a lot of it will have to tie in with mining. So all the economies will tie in together, and then that'll tie into how many pirates show up in an area, and then how many bounty hunters show up, and then all that stuff will be interrelated into the quantum system. So that is the trading profession. The next profession, really, it's not a profession yet. But it is the medic or the search and rescue profession. So right now, if someone gets hurt and they are alive, say they have 1 to 2 hours left, they can set up a medical beacon, and I believe it's 15,000, and then someone can take that mission and go down there and bring them back to life using a healing gun or the healing pins, the med pins. That is the only real medic type stuff we have right now. You could try to grab them and load them into your ship if they have a really bad injury, and bring them over to like your Cutlass Red with a tier 3 med bed, or your Carrack which has a tier 2 med bed. Same with the 890 jump, or you could even bring them to a planet or an outpost that some of them have tier 3 med beds, which is the highest, and they will heal the most. I'm sorry, they have tier 1 med beds because tier 1 is the best, tier 3 is the worst, something like that. So in the future, I think those missions are going to come more frequently. It'll be a lot like Trauma Team from Cyberpunk, I think is the idea. But right now, it's not very lucrative. Beacons come few and far between, especially with all the dynamic events going on. And most people just don't even call for them. They just backspace because there still is no real hardcore reason to not die. There really is almost no consequence in the game. So, okay, and then also as the medic, if you're doing some FPS missions, you could be the medic for your group. So if someone gets shot, taken down, you could be Johnny on the spot with the med gun and bring them all back up. So every good group needs a cleric, right? Or I should say medic. The next profession we'll talk about, the last real one that's in the game, is the piracy and illegal goods profession. So there are illegal missions in the game. Instead of going to the general tab for your contracts, you could go to the personal tab, the second tab. And most of those missions, if they don't look legit, they're not signed by real people, and they're probably illegal missions. You're most likely going to be asked to kill somebody or go take some drugs or steal something. And if you get caught, meaning you're in an area where a comm array is up and working, you will get a crime stat. They do pay out very well. They pay out better than the regular missions, but the risk is you're going to get a crime stat. If you get a high crime stat, then players will chase you for a bounty and stuff like that. So there is that type of gameplay. There are server events like Jumptown, Xenothreat, Ninetales Lockdown, where you could be on the side of the bad guys if you as a loose term. I mean, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist, but whatever side you want to be on, typically if it's against the law, then you are on the bad side, and you could help those guys out as an illegal profession. And for Jumptown and Ninetales, there are actually missions for that. For Xenothreat, there's only one mission, and that's to help out the Civilian Defense Force. But you could show up out where everyone's at and help out Xenothreat by killing players. So, now here's the thing: there's with piracy, and this is opinionated, but I think it's true. Piracy is think about the movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, right? A pirate's goal is not to kill somebody. A pirate's goal is money. So, as a pirate, you are trying to extort someone using the threat of violence that you're going to kill them in order to steal what they have. So, if a ship has a bunch of cargo goods and you're running a blockade and you're going to say, hey, either you pay the tax to get through or I'm going to blow your ship up. That's piracy. I would say 99% of the time, the player is just going to try to go through anyway, because, again, there's no real consequence to dying in this game yet. But that's actually piracy. Now, people who just go in and want to just kill people without asking or demanding goods, whether you're in chat or whether they do a comm call, those I call griefers or flat out murderers. Griefers is really a term reserved for people who are attacking other people and inhibiting their chance to play the game. For instance, if you're a Port Olisar and someone's just shooting down your ship and blowing you up, just, as soon as you claim a ship and it comes back on the pad and they're just blowing you up over and over and over again, not asking for anything, that's a griefer. Someone who comes out and just wants to fight you, is not a pirate, it's not asking for anything, that is a murderer or a PvPer. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think PvP should be invited. I think there's plenty of people that want to PvP, and there's plenty of people who don't want to PvP. But this game is not going to have PvP zones. Every zone is a PvP zone. And you'll see that a lot more as we get into the Pyro system, where it's much more lawless. There's no comm arrays out there. You're not going to get a crime stat. That's just how it is. So now we're going to go over upcoming professions in the game. Stuff that's not in the game yet, but maybe in the game soon. The first one is a pilot/taxi profession. This was supposed to be in 3.17, but it did get taken out. But you are going to have the ability with the Genesis Starliner and other ships to take real people and mostly NPCs and ferry them from place to place. And you will get money and probably bonuses depending on the comfort of your ship, how fast you get them there, if there's no battles, things like that. So those missions are coming in. The Genesis Starliner is not on the pipeline at all, but that is the commercial transport vehicle of the game. The next profession would be Salvage, which is supposed to come in patch 3.18, which is the quarter 2 patch of 2022. The first ship that'll have the salvage capability is the Drake Vulture. Even though the Reclaimer is out there, it's going to be probably the second ship to get it. And then there's going to be hand salvage as well with the multi-tool. But salvage is a big part of the game. There's a lot of wrecks out there, a lot of derelicts, things like that. You'll be able to salvage the metals from them and some other goods from them, put them in your cargo. And now it becomes a cargo rep mission, because now you got to take them back. You got to be able to sell them. So that's, everything kind of ties into itself. The next profession we'll talk about is exploration. Exploration is where you are actually out there and you're exploring things no one else has seen or been to, or people need more information on a certain area. Anvil Carrack is an exploration ship. There are other ships that are called Pathfinder ships. Not necessarily exploration, but they could do light exploration. A Carrack is designed to go out there for a long amount of time and actually find new jump holes and find new moons and new planets and things like that. I don't know if that part is going to be in the game, new planets, new moons, things like that, but I would bet that new asteroid fields, new jump holes, things like that are going to be part of the gameplay sometime in the future. The next profession we'll talk about is data runner, hacker / smuggler. So a data runner is a person who will either legally or illegally steal information from whatever source they're hired to steal it from. There's certain type of ships that excel at that. One of them is the Drake Vulture, and the other one of that is called the Mercury Star Runner. And those ships have like these servers on them, and they're built for they have these antennas, and they're built for intercepting communications, putting them in their servers, and then running away with the storage. The ships are really fast. Same thing with smuggling. The Mercury Star Runner has a specific compartment made just for shielded, so you can put like illegal goods in there and smuggle goods around with that, whether it be drugs or something else, it doesn't matter. And the Constellation Taurus also has a shielded, scam-proof, supposedly, compartment in the very back where the snub fighter would normally be. So smuggling could be a profession as well. I think it's going to be more tied into drugs in the short term. But yeah, data running and hacking, they were slated to come in 3.16. I believe they were pushed out to 3.18, probably going to be pushed out even further, like 3.19 or so. I think they got taken out altogether for now. There's a lot of work that has to go into that, but that kind of stuff is coming. Racing can be a profession. Right now, we do have a mode in Arena Commander where there's races. They don't get you any money or anything yet, but you can practice. There is a racetrack that's set up around Grim Hex. They're waiting to clear asteroids out of the way so people can actually hold races there. But there's a whole thing in the game called the Murray Cup, and think of it as not necessarily NASCAR, but more like Formula One or a Le Mans type event, where players can actually win that event and win a ton of money and maybe even get sponsored by different ship companies that make racing ships. Some of the racing ships are the M50, the Misk Razor, the Mustang Gamma, the Origin 350. There's a bunch of really fast racing ships in the game. And so, yeah, that could definitely be a profession. The next profession we'll talk about is, I call it repair / tow truck / gas station. So these are supporting roles, but they're critical to the game. You are going to, at some point, there's going to be such a big stretch of space in between orbital stations that you will have to have some kind of floating repair platform. There are ships out there like the Crucible that are designed to be able to repair your ship in the middle of space. There is some tow truck gameplay. The Argo SRV, a ship that Jawa has, that is a tow truck. It's going to have a big tractor beam on it. It's more like a tugboat, but it's really a tow truck. It's going to be able to pull other ships and vehicles around and hopefully take them to get repaired. Maybe take it to the Crucible, take it to the Liberator, wherever you're going to be able to do your repairs. Take it to the orbital station. And so that tow truck gameplay is going to be in there. And then there's the gas station with the Starfarer and possibly some other ships in there as well that you'll be able to dock with them and actually get fuel and refuel your ship, and maybe even do refueling missions where you refuel others, and that'll be part of the gameplay. Pyro is a really big system, and if you want a fast quantum drive, you are not going to make it from one station to another with the gas that you have, so you're going to have to refuel at some point. The refueling gameplay is where players kind of set the price based on the needs of supply and demand. So, next profession we'll talk about, second to last, is science. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to have for science. There hasn't been a whole lot of information on it, but there are certain ships that are made specifically for science. The Constellation Aquila is one of those ships. The top turret is not a gun. It is actually a science turret with a bunch of scanners and things like that. You'll be able to do some kind of scientific gameplay. The Misk Reliance series has a science ship. So there's definitely going to be stuff in the game that we could do. And I think science ties into the last profession, which is crafting and being a merchant. So eventually one day you're going to be able to craft things. And I don't know if player crafted items are going to be as good as produced items in the game, or lootable / buyable items. But I imagine they'll have certain perks that other things won't have. You might need the science profession to tie into that so that you could have better stuff and make better items. And then you'll be able to have ships like the Banu Merchantman and the Kraken Privateer and the Idris Privateer that you'll be able to have other people come onto your ship, land on your ship, and shop on your ship. You're basically a floating shopping mall, and people will be able to come over there and buy stuff from you in the middle of space or on the ground somewhere, wherever you are. That's definitely a way to make money in the verse. So there you go, folks. That is the Professions highlight. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the video, in the comments in the video. And let's head on to the next section, which is the state of the game and bugs. All right, folks. So we're in close to the end here. We are in section 10 of the video, and I just wanted to go over kind of state of the game and how patches work, I guess. So we're here at the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website. And this tells you all about Star Citizen here. I'm sure if you've probably been to the site to pledge and all that. But currently, as of time of this filming, we are in patch 3.16.1. And I'm going to click on the roadmap here and take us to the roadmap. The roadmap defaults to the progress tracker, where you can kind of look at the progress of certain deliverables if you kind of want to see how the game is going along, because it is still very much in alpha. If you're interested in seeing what any of the certain teams do, I think there's like 52 different teams. You can like, if we want to see what AI Tech and Feature Team are doing, we can pull up some of their stuff here in the progress tracker. We can look at, like, say, AI for ground vehicles. This is being worked on Star Citizen, and then there's some stuff that's just Squadron 42, and there's some stuff that's both. We have another view here called deliverables. Under the deliverables, there's so many of these. There's like 400 plus deliverables. But if you're interested in this, say like an upcoming feature that's supposed to be in this year is Bounty Hunter V2. You can see that there's two teams working on it. The Mission Feature Team and the USPU Gameplay Feature Team. It's a 40-week duration sprint, and it's going to let players track criminals via mobilasts, etc., etc., etc. Now, you can, once you have this guy highlighted, basically, you can pull on the timeline and see, hey, this is when some of this work was being done and when it was scheduled. It's important to note that when this ends in mid to late October, which is just in time for CitizenCon, by the way. CitizenCon timeframe. It's in time for IAE. That doesn't mean that this feature is done. It means that what was scheduled for these teams is done. So the Mission Feature Team has a sprint from basically June to October, and the USPU team has their sprint from January, so it's currently in work all the way to October. So you could try to gauge where things are going to come out, but there is no guarantee under the progress tracker of when things are actually going to come out. If you are kind of an insider and you pay attention to a lot of the videos that Star Citizen releases, like Inside Star Citizen Live, you could probably get a better feel. But still, there is no guarantee. You're not going to know when things are going to come out until you go over here to Release View. Now, Release View, I don't want to say it got nerfed, but it did get changed. So from now on, we're only going to see 1 quarter in advance on the Release View after 3.18. We used to see the next 4 quarters, but we're not going to see that anymore. So right now we're currently in 3.16.1. It tells you, when this patch was released. It was the 4th quarter. 3.16 was the 4th quarter patch of 2021. And you can see that these 2 pieces have been released. Dying Star map, Gravlev stuff. Like, we're already into this patch. There was a 3.16.1, and that had laser trip mines, and that had the hover quad and some of the other stuff that's going on. The next patch that's coming out this year is probably towards the end of March, early April, that we'll see it live. It's 3.17. Well, as we go through it, you see that there's things that are tentative and there's things that are committed. For instance, the DNA head texture update, that is committed. Like, that's going to come out in some iteration of 3.17. It doesn't mean it's going to come out in April or late March in 3.17.0. It could come in 3.17.1, .2, .3. There's different iterations of patches as they work through the issues of that quarter. We should see Lorville Hospital, Maria Pure of Heart. We should see variations in space station clinics. The coffee shop vendor, a lot of scrutiny under that one. Mining gadgets, ship-to-ship refueling, selling items to shops. And then you see the Scorpius and the Miss Calais are still tentative. They're probably going to come with 3.17. We've seen a lot of progress on those, but it might not come in 3.17.0. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know what's going to come out, but CIG has a practice of releasing ships during free fly events. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Scorpius at Invictus Launch Week, which is in May, just to kind of garner sales. They are a company that they are a business. They're trying to make money. So they do use tactics like artificial scarcity and fear of missing out and stuff like that to sell their ships, especially with lifetime insurance. And then the Miss Calais. So these are tentative. That means that they might not come out in this patch at all. But from what I've seen, they're probably going to. If we look forward at quarter 2 of 2022, we could see these are the two big ones here, the cargo system refactor and salvage with hull stripping. And then we should see the Drake Vulture and the salvage attachment for the Greycat multi-tool. These two features here, cargo and salvage, rely on a lot of core tech being in the game. So we'll see. We'll see if those stay in 3.18 or if they get pushed to 3.19 or possibly 3.20 or who knows. Who knows what's going to happen. But anyway, that's like the roadmap. So that kind of lets you know where we're at in the current state of the game. If you have bugs and you want to report bugs, you go to something that's called the Issue Council here off the Apps menu. When you get to Issue Council, you can choose to either put a bug in on the Issue Council itself or on StarCitizen. 99.9% of the time, it's going to be StarCitizen. You're going to click that, and then you can look at what's on your dashboard right now. So right now, we see a bunch of different bugs that are fairly new. We can see some recently confirmed issues and some recently fixed issues in here. You can look up a whole bunch of different stuff over here on the left side. You can look up all issues. You can sort things by the status. Like, let's say it's open, our category. Let's say we want to look at general UI and the severity. The game version, let's most current version of 3.16.1. And then we can start going through here. This is it for this one. So we filtered it down pretty good. If you click on an actual an issue here, you can contribute to it, or you can say, hey, it's a duplicate, or this is a feature, not a bug. That happens a lot, actually. You can look at trending. You can help contribute to these bugs. So if CIG knows about it and they get a lot of contributions, they will try to fix the bug, or at least put it in their log to fix, one of the unique things about StarCitizen and bugs is that there are some bugs that people get that other people don't get at all. And it's the instability of their game engine, and a lot of it has to do with the server. If the server is in a bad spot and it's dying, or there's just too much going on and they can't handle the load, you will have really weird stuff happen, stuff that's not supposed to happen. Some of those are legitimate bugs, but some of it is just because the server's really bad. So a lot of the times, don't be offended if you get in here and people are like, I've never seen that happen to me. If CIG doesn't necessarily fix it because they're trying to improve the stability of the game, which would then fix your bug, things like that. But it doesn't hurt to put bug reports in at all. So you can look at trending bug reports here, almost confirmed. Bug reports that are expiring soon. And then you can look at you can like search up here in the search bar. And you can look at your own bug reports. I've had a lot of bug reports. You can look at bugs you've contributed to. So there's a lot of different stuff you can do with the issue council and reporting bugs. The only other thing I really wanted to talk about, which we don't currently have, so I can't show you, is the public test universe. StarCitizen has, during their patch cycles, they have different waves of testing. The very first wave, usually called Wave 0, is called Evocati, the Evocati test flight. They're affectionately known as the avocados. Well, Evocati, their job is to go in and test a lot of the stuff before it goes to the public test universe. And they see a ton of crazy bugs and server instability and things like that. And CIG tries to work to get a lot of that done because there's such a small group of Evocati before they release the testing to a wider audience. The second part of testing is Wave 1 PTU. Wave 1 PTU is open for all subscribers and Evocati as well, but also concierge members. And so they will get access to the beginning features of that patch. It's a little bit smaller of a group than Open PTU. And they'll go in there and at that point, the patch is, for the most part, public. And people can do videos and things like that. And there's a lot of bugs that's in there too. So that usually goes on for a week or so, maybe a little bit longer. And then typically they open it up to Wave 2 PTU, which is open. Well, Wave 2 is actually different, but it's, for the most part, you got Wave 2 and you got Open PTU, where all players, almost all backers, can participate in the PTU and do some testing before the patch actually goes live. Then the patch will actually go through a live cycle, and it'll get pushed out via the patch launcher. I'm sure you guys have seen the launcher on the screen before. When you have a PTU, you actually click on under the caret under next to live, and it will say PTU. So that's how you know if there's a PTU going on. And that's about it for doing bugs, using the tracker, and explaining the issue council. The next section, we're going to talk about resources that you can use on the internet, and maybe help you out with the game or whatnot. And yeah, take it away, me. All right, guys, so we're almost to the end, but before we wrap up, I wanted to go over some resources of some websites and things like that that I think could possibly help you in your Star Citizen journey. First and foremost, I got to plug my own website with me in Jawa. It is fistandjawa.org, and hopefully I have that up on the screen. And just going through this, the homepage, right? Not going to go too in depth. Little backstory with me in Jawa. We have some of our YouTube stuff on here. Obviously, Jawa hasn't updated this in 2 months, but we got some playlists and things like that in there. Jawa actually did a bunch of stuff on mining tutorials, so if you're interested in some quick mining information. And then we have a store for some of our merchandise and things like that. Of course, I want to plug that if you're interested in t-shirts or tumbler or a cool pillow or freaking COVID mask. Who knows? I actually got Jawa this, and he really likes it. So, anyway, next up, hopefully. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got Erkul.games, ERKUL.games. also known as the DPS calculator, and this is its default home screen. I use this on a ton of my videos, especially for ships. You can pick almost any ship in the game that's available to us, say like Ares Inferno, and then you can mess around and see what kind of missiles fit it. It tells you where to get the missiles. Same with components. You can compare stats and stuff like that. You can compare stats, like say all power plants, and then you can filter things out. Like I just want military and I just want grade A. And so then you can size 1s, there's 2 of them, and then there's 2 size 2s, 2 size 3s. So you can do all that kind of stuff and find out where to get them. Lots of really useful tools on Erkul.game at the DPS calculator. You could even throw like a whole load of stuff into items into the cart, and then you can come look at your cart and you can see where to get stuff and how much it's going to cost. So awesome tool. Next up, we have StarCitizen.tools. I know it's a lot of white on the screen, and I apologize, but it's the Star Citizen wiki, pretty much, and there are 5,000 articles. So I actually come here all the time to do searches for information on ships and things like that. So let's say we're doing a video on the Nomad, and I would just type in Nomad, click on that guy, and it gives me a whole bunch of information on it. It gives me some features, all the different paints you can get, pricing, a gallery of pictures, some trivia, some references and things like that. So, and then it goes on. I mean, every vehicle in the game is right here. So quickly I can go to different links. So great website, StarCitizen.tools. And the next one's a fairly new site. I know Space Coder's been working on this for a while, but it is called the Star Citizen Armory. As Armory, you can basically do a loadout for your person. So let's say you wanted a certain type of undersuit. Let's look up our TCS undersuits, my favorite, and we go with like black and gray, right? Well, bam, this is what it looks like, and then this is all the stats for that stuff. If we can do the same thing with a helmet. Say we want to use this helmet. There's no picture of it right now, but it has, if it's going to have stats, it'll be up there and stuff. And then we can get a shopping list for this, and we can see where we can buy the stuff. And you can even scratch it out if you've already bought it. So really a cool tool. That is the Star Citizen Armory. I'll try to get the website up there. It's the armory.thespacecoder.space. Next website is one that Jawa and I use a ton. It is called the Cornerstone, the Universal Item Finder. And this thing will pretty much tell you where anything in the game is, period. So let's say TCS, we'll do the black-gray undersuit. And boom, here we go. With a picture of it and everything. So similar to the Armory, but this site does other stuff as well. It'll tell you how much it costs, where you can find it, damage resistances, all that kinds of stuff. If we go back, though, we can look at like ship weaponry and mining stuff. Like if we're looking at mining modifiers, well, here we can look at all of them, and then they even have stats on them. So awesome website, the Cornerstone Universal Item Finder. So next up, we're going to talk about some websites. If you don't know what this is called Spectrum. This is the forum at you can get to this from robertsspaceindustries.com, which is the main Star Citizen website. And then you can just drill down and get into Spectrum. So this is the message board and the forum and all that stuff of Star Citizen itself. So you can look at things like in general and ask the devs a question. And there's hashtags, there's lobbies, discussions on the patches. If you're ever looking for patch notes, they're for the last official patch. They're always in here. Stuff about ships and community and all kinds of stuff in Spectrum. And then you can have private conversations. And Spectrum eventually, I think, will link up. The plan is to link it kind of into the game for certain things. So look for that kind of stuff coming up. The next site is the Issue Council. I say this because this is not a game yet, guys. The Star Citizen is an alpha, a playable alpha. And we are paying for the privilege to test someone else's game. But really, if you see a bug or something like that, you really want to come here to the Issue Council. You can get to it again from the RSI webpage, robertspacindustries.com. And this is today's trending, recently opened issues. And then there's trending topics and fixed issues. And you can look at all the stuff that you've put in the past and contributed to. And there's reports and there's all kinds of stuff. But if you see a bug, please search for it here first. Sometimes duplicates happen. But if not, you can open up a new ticket and others will have a chance to collaborate with you and see if they experience the bug. So very important to give feedback to the devs on this. Okay, now, my buddy Cobra. So Cobra TV is one of the reasons I kind of got into Star Citizen to begin with. So with that, he does have a YouTube channel, Cobra TV. Just look up Cobra Space TV on YouTube, and he's a wackadoodle. He has some really funny stuff in Star Citizen. He's got so much stuff, and he plays a lot with his wife Vega as well, so good stuff on there. He started out with GTA, and then he moved on to kind of No Man's Sky, where he was real big in there, and now he's over in Star Citizen. So, and he does play other games every once in a while as well. So please check out Cobra TV. And then, of course, we have Cobra's Twitch channel. So this is where Cobra spends probably most of his time. He streams almost every day. So check out his Twitch channel. It's Cobra TV _SC. And, if you haven't already been to my Discord, please head on over to Cobra's Discord. There's always some people in there looking to play. Cobra is a streamer, mostly, but one thing he'll do is when you get to know him a little bit, he interacts with you. He's cordial. He's happy to see you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get in there as much as I should, but he's such an awesome guy, and he is genuinely, like, when I show up in chat, he's like, "Oh, Fist, let me tell you what happened last week." Like we haven't even skipped a beat. And I haven't talked to him in a month type thing. So phenomenal guy. I can't say enough good things about Cobra TV. Cobra, if you're listening, you're the man. And thank you for getting me into this game that I've spent thousands of dollars on. Okay, next one up is another cool cat. I don't know why his thing is blurred up here, but on YouTube, it is called the Astropub. So if you're ever interested in lore, chat sessions, like the Captain's Table on Saturday, Lore Citizen. So Paul from the Astropub here has so many different videos out there, but really he focuses on a lot of lore, and that's usually why I go to his channel. So if you want to, like, some of these videos, like the Jumptown Wars, oh my god, it's professional level. It's phenomenal stuff. So check out the Astropub. Next up is, of course, probably the most famous news site in Star Citizen, and that would be Board Gamer on YouTube. Board usually puts out pretty much a video a day. I do like Board's content when it's new. I don't like any of the news YouTubes when they regurgitate Inside Star Citizen. I watched Inside Star Citizen. I'm not going to watch your 15-minute video on a 13-minute Star Citizen or ISC. But if I do if I want a fast rundown of some news, I usually go to a site called Noobifier. I'm not featuring him here, but he does have really short videos on longer Star Citizen videos. Sometimes they're too short, but Board does a great job. Board and Zen does a great job for him editing and doing their panels and stuff. So phenomenal people. Definitely check out Board Gamer. You won't regret it. Good visuals and stuff. Next up is Morphologist, the most popular Star Citizen videos and streamer. I guess he's an architect in Taiwan, so he does a lot of architect reviews on things. The thing about Morphologist is he has really, really high production value, much higher than mine. Although we both do a lot of stuff in 4K. Mine is more raw, more improv. Morphologist is very tailored. And he does a great job on a lot of stuff. So fantastic job, fantastic place. Check out Morphologists on YouTube. Okay, next up is one of the guys I watch, the Eradicator. I don't know exactly where he's from. He's a foreign guy. It's not from, meaning he's not from the United States. I guess I'm not subscribed with him on Fisting Jawa's YouTube. I'll have to fix that. Okay, there you go, Eradicator, another subscriber, buddy. Great site. He has a lot of cool things he talks about. I mean, he does kind of regurgitate news like some other people, but he actually does have some unique stuff, and I like some of his views. So check out the Eradicator on YouTube. Next up, we have Super Mac Brothers, or Super Mac Brother, which is Ryan, aka Mac. I'm not sure the backstory on that, but another news site. Let me make sure I subscribe to him. Really good dude. Good stuff. He's another guy that's not a United States guy. And he has all kinds of stuff on FIFA. And he has some shorts, Ark, and but mostly Star Citizen. So check out Super Mac Brothers Ryan. And of course, Soul Citizen. Jawa did an OG gamer type thing on Soul Citizens, and I like Soul Citizen. It's pretty cool. I wish they'd put me down in here somewhere. But they actually do something that the first time I've ever seen it in Star Citizen. They actually do focus heavily on the Black community in Star Citizen, and that's really cool to see. It's not like they're singling anybody out. It's just, it is what it is. But they had Jawa on there and stuff, and I talk with Griff all the time, and these guys are awesome. They definitely deserve a subscription. They just hit 1,000, so congratulations, Soul Citizens, and check out their YouTube channel. Really good content on there. Okay, next up. Apparently it's just regular Twitch. I guess I didn't take that out. Okay, next up is one of my favorite Twitch streamers. She hasn't done stuff in a while, but it's Karen from accounting. So Karen is an old Cobra, and she plays in a bunch of different of the servers and things like that. And we last month played Phasmophobia with her, and that was a lot of fun. And Karen is a really nice, genuine person. She's awesome. And if you ever get a chance, if she's streaming, hop on her stream. Karen's amazing. All right, next up is Mops_33. Mops33. Mops is another one like Karen, been around for a while, and Cobra, he's a desert rat. He's even been in my Discord a few times, but Mops streams regularly 2 or 3 times, if not more, a week. He's a great dude, and he has some really funny content, and I've been on his streams numerous times, so has Jawa, so definitely check out Mops33. And that is it, guys, for resources, websites, and streamers, and YouTube channels that we are recommending heavily right now. You know what? I forgot Vega, and I forgot Lucky Token Monkey. Vega does stream every once in a while. Vega is Cobra's wife. Of course, Sword. Definitely check out Sword's content. Old friend of Cobra. And Lucky, we got to plug Lucky, because Lucky is, I guess he hasn't streamed in a while. He has no videos up here. Check out Lucky Token Monkey. He hangs around with the Desert Rats a lot. I do see him stream every once in a while. So that is it for our resources. And now on to the final thoughts and the outro of the video. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. And let's hear my final thoughts on Star Citizen. All right, guys, here it is, the finale of the video. I know it was really long, and I appreciate you guys watching so far. If I've earned your like, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, get us out there. This has been a monumental effort. I wanted to do the best starter video ever made, and I may have bit off more than I can chew by making it so long with so much content instead of just going piece by piece, but I honestly think this is the best way to do it, because you can come back to this video, you can skip around to whatever section you want, You can come back multiple times, and I hope you've learned something. Let's talk about final thoughts here. The beginner's guide. Yes, this is a beginner's primer. However, I did not touch on so many things. There's so many more things to Star Citizen. You think this wasn't an alpha. You think this was an actually released game, but it's not. There is so much stuff to do, but I hopefully gave you enough of a starting place to get in there, get in the game, enjoy it, have fun, make some friends. If you're looking for people to play with, hop onto my Discord, Sons of Valhalla. The link is in the description. And if someone's not on, go into a room. Someone might show up. We stream every Thursday. Come hit us up. We stream every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Hit us up there. We definitely are down to play with people and have a great time. Keep in mind that this is a MMO, so it is a multiplayer game. However, that doesn't stop me from playing solo. I would say 50% of the time, I'm usually solo in the game. I like playing the game the way I like to play it, and I like to do mining solo, dogfighting solo, things like that. If there's an obstacle I can't reach, I just reach out to someone in the Discord and boom, now it's multiplayer. And then we set up certain events that are actually multiplayer to begin with. So don't forget that there is going to be content for you to be able to solo this game. Again, make friends, play in Discord. General chat can be pretty toxic along with Reddit and Spectrum. But I would say the various Discords of the various streamers and YouTubers are fantastic communities. There's a couple Facebook groups that are really, really good as well. There's a couple that are really bad. But if you're looking to make friends and get out there and have fun in the verse, do that. Hit people up in global chat. Be like, hey, anybody want to do some mining? Can I get an escort for this cargo run? I'll kick you 50 grand. Whatever. Just have a good time. Anything you have in the game, any money that you make, any cargo you trade, it's all for nothing, because this game and all your stuff is going to get wiped at least at beta, if not before beta. And then after beta, before the game releases, it'll all get wiped again. So nothing in the game except the things that you actually purchased, like starter ship, or if you purchased other ships, some paints or whatever, all that will be there every time. But stuff you bought in game and all that stuff, that is eventually going to get wiped. So take it with a grain of salt and have fun. Join an org. My org is called the Sons of Valhalla. Link is below, but I'm also part. You can be in more than one org. I'm also a High Council member of Cobra Force. I am in the Desert Rats. I am in the Squirrels of Microtech, the Revolution of Microtech. I'm in a bunch of different orgs, and I play with other people that are in different orgs too, even though I'm not in their org. An org is what you would call a guild in WoW. It is a group of players with a common goal, getting together to have some fun. So there's role-playing orgs, there's mining orgs, there's pirate orgs, there's bounty hunter orgs, there's all kinds of different orgs. Check out the orgs on Spectrum. See if I would make sure they have a Discord or some type of TeamSpeak or voice chat, because playing together without voice is horrible. And yeah, join an org. Join my org. And as Jawa would always say, Jawa likes to end his videos with happy mining. And I would definitely say happy mining to everybody. And remember, if the fist don't get you, the lightning bolt will. Good night, Stanton. Thanks for watching, and enjoy Star Citizen.